The three most popular ways to play PC VR wirelessly with a Quest headset are AirLink, Steam Link, and Virtual Desktop. To keep this video from being so long no one is ever going to watch it, I'll only be going over AirLink in this video, which is Meta's native built-in wireless streaming method. But if you're curious about Steam Link and Virtual Desktop and want to learn more, you can find videos about those in this playlist, popping up in the cards right now. Now, the way this works is we're going to be streaming our VR games from our PC to our Quest over our home network's Wi-Fi. This means the speed of our home Wi-Fi is a very important foundational piece when it comes to getting the best wireless PC VR experience possible. And this is true of Steam Link and Virtual Desktop as well, not just for AirLink. So the very first thing we need to do is connect our gaming PC or laptop to our router using an Ethernet cable. This is one of those things that is pretty much non-negotiable. I say pretty much because technically it is possible to just use Wi-Fi. I actually made a video testing what would happen if you don't use an Ethernet cable, if you'd like to check it out. But suffice it to say, the difference between using an Ethernet cable and using Wi-Fi was night and day. Meta, Steam, and Guy Godin, the developer of Virtual Desktop, all recommend using an Ethernet cable to connect your PC to your router, and I concur. If you are unable to connect your PC to your router with an Ethernet cable because your router is too far away or whatever, then you might want to consider just using a link cable, which I have a tutorial for you can check out here. The next thing we need to do is make sure our Quest is connected to our home network's 5 GHz band. You do not want to be connected to the 2.4 GHz band for this. Also, if you have a mesh Wi-Fi system, it's very important you make sure your Quest is connected to your main router and not one of your mesh nodes. While making this video, I was having some major latency issues, and it took me a bit to realize my Quest 3S was connecting to my mesh node, which is much closer to where I'm at in my house than my main router is. To fix this, I had to log into my router and bond my Quest to my main router, and that made things so much better. While in our router settings, the next thing we want to do is set the channel bandwidth of our 5 GHz band to 80 MHz. As kind of a side note, this isn't exactly required for your wireless PC streaming to work, but it does make a big difference in the quality of the visuals and the overall performance. The last thing we need to do is set up our play space as near to our router as possible. This too isn't exactly required, but the closer you are to your router, the better your signal is going to be. Thus, the better the visuals and gameplay experience will also be. Okay, with that stuff now covered, let's show you how to use AirLink. To connect our Quest to our PC, we need to download and install the QuestLink software to our PC. I've provided the link to the download on Meta's website in the video description to make it quick and easy for you to find. Once you've got it installed, you'll need to log into your Meta account, and once you've done that, we need to go to the Devices tab here on the left-hand side of the window, and then go down to this button where it says Add Headset. Click on it, and it will then ask us which model of headset we're going to be connecting. I'm using a Quest 3S for this, so I'm going to select that and then click Continue. At this screen, we want to select AirLink and then click Continue again. Now it's time to put on our headset and open the quick settings, which is where the time is displayed on our menu bar. That will bring up this window where we want to click on Link. At this screen at the top, we want to toggle Use AirLink On, which will then bring up a list of computers on our network that are running the QuestLink software. I have two PCs here, my main rig and my test rig. I'm using my test rig for this today, so I'm going to select it and then click on Pair. This will bring up a pairing code, which we need to go back to our computer and verify by clicking the Confirm button here. We can now put our headset back on, click Continue, and then Launch. This will then take us into the QuestLink PC environment, where we can launch our games, interact with our PC, and more. Hey, yo, wait just a minute, don't leave yet. I know you're excited to check everything out and try playing some games now, but before you take off, there's a few other things that I want to share with you to help make your experience the very best it can be. Okay, so while in the Quest Link PC VR interface, we want to go all the way over to the left here, to this VR headset icon thing. Click on it, and in this menu, we want to max our dynamic bitrate slider all the way out to 200 megabits per second. Now, the last couple things we need to talk about to help us have the best experience possible are setting the refresh rate, render resolution, and game settings. What exactly you can set these to is going to depend immensely on your PC's hardware and require a bit of trial and error to get it dialed in. But to set the refresh rate and render resolution, we need to go into the Quest Link app on our PC. And in the Devices tab, if we click on our headset, it will pop up this menu. And if we scroll down, we'll find the Graphics Preferences. Click on that, and here we can change the refresh rate we want our Quest to run at for PC VR games, and the resolution our computer is going to render our games at. Like I said, what refresh rate and render resolution you can set here and get a smooth playable frame rate is going to heavily depend on your PC's hardware. There is a tool that comes along with the Quest Link software we can use to help us dial these settings in though, called the Oculus Debug Tool. You can open this tool by going into Windows Explorer, clicking on your C drive or whatever other drive you installed Quest Link to, then going into Program Files, Oculus, Support, and then Oculus Diagnostics. Here you'll find the Oculus Debug Tool. Double click to open it, and oh yeah, I almost forgot. Another setting you want to make sure is turned on is link sharpening, which is down here toward the bottom of this menu. I think it's set to normal by default, but just in case it isn't, you'll want to make sure you set it to normal or quality. For those wondering what the difference is, the high-level overview is there are two different methods of image sharpening. The quality sharpening algorithm requires a bit more performance overhead to run compared to the normal sharpening algorithm, but when the quality algorithm was first introduced, it provided slightly better visual quality than normal did. Since that time, though, Meta has improved the normal sharpening algorithm, where both methods now look pretty much identical, and according to information I found online, normal requires less resources to run, so I just use normal. Alright, now for the tool that's going to help us dial in our refresh rate, render resolution, and game settings. That's this guy right here, the visible HUD. Where it says None, click on that and select Performance from the dropdown. If your headset is powered on and connected to AirLink when you select this, you will see this overlay appear, displaying your current frame rate and your performance overhead. We can use this information to help us dial in all of our settings. When starting out for the very first time, you'll probably want to start with 72 Hz for your refresh rate and leave the automatic render resolution button toggled on until you run a game and see what your performance is like. For example, if you see your PC is hitting your target frame rate just fine and you have a bunch of performance headroom still available, that means you can go back to the Quest Link app and increase the refresh rate or the render resolution or both, and keep testing it out until you either reach the limit of what your PC can do or you reach a point you're happy with. While doing this, you'll also want to play around with the graphics quality settings in the games you play to find that nice balance of refresh rate, render resolution, and game settings. Yes, this process can be tedious, but if you'd like to speed things up a little bit, if you know what GPU you have, I have a playlist here of a bunch of different GPUs I've tested in VR and share the settings I used for those games. So go ahead and take a look and see if I've tested your GPU. And if not, I've probably tested something that's similar in performance that will at least give you a nice point to start from. Come on, do it. You know you want to. Subscribe.